Hey everyone, let's talk about using the Amazon Fire HD8 Plus here in 2024. This is the Plus version, meaning you get 4 gigabytes of RAM compared to 3. You get wireless charging, and then you also get this nice looking back to it. It also has this nice texture to it, and it's also this slight gray color. I think this is a decent looking tablet. You do get giant bezels all around, which is a little bit unfortunate, but I don't really mind it because being a tablet, you're probably going to be holding onto it with both hands. And then this way you're not touching your screen and hitting things you don't need to be hitting. This is basically all plastic, and it will get fingerprints all over it. I wiped it off right before this video, and we're not even a minute into it. There's already fingerprints all over it. So that's one thing that is a little bit annoying. But if you hold it like this, like you probably will be holding it, you won't really notice them anyway, especially if your brightness is up. But just something to note. Let's talk about actually using this device here in 2024. So for web browsing, I'm just using the Silk browser. I think it's actually a rather good browser that comes on here. Of course, you can download other browsers if you want to. We're just going to go on Google. We'll do what is the best tablet. And apparently I'm going to hit Samsung at the same time. Then we'll just find a website. So like we'll go to Tech Radar here. I know they are a pretty popular website and YouTube channel. And then scrolling through here, you can see this loads in actually rather quickly. There should be some loading in here. Yeah, stupid advertisement. But for the most part, though, this thing loads in rather well. It scrolls through things pretty well. I mean, it's just your standard. There's nothing special here. There's no 120 hertz refresh rate, just your standard refresh rate. But I think it loads in here actually rather well. Now, if you go to something a little bit heavier, say bestbuy.com, it's going to take longer to load in the entire page. So if I scroll up here, you can see like all this stuff is still trying to load in. It's going to take a little bit for it to load in. So let's go ahead. We'll hit the iPad 10.2. And there we go. So the majority of the page will be loaded in decently quick, but you will have things that take a bit longer to load in. And this is, of course, something that's going to happen when you're spending not a whole lot of money on a tablet. And this is a nice budget tablet. And this is not the slowest tablet by any means. But it's not going to be the quickest either. Because, again, this is definitely a budget tablet. But it's a good budget tablet. Go ahead and we'll hit the picture. And there we go. So for web browsing, it is more than doable. As long as I don't mind waiting a little bit longer if you're loading in heavy websites such as bestbuy.com like we just did there. Now if we go into something like Roblox, I know a lot of people buy Amazon tablets for their kids. And, of course, kids do like to play Roblox. It's not going to be the best experience out there. I would recommend getting at least the HD10 Plus or the 11. The 11 is going to be the best. As I'll show, like we'll go into Arsenal here, which yes is a little bit of a heavier game, but keep in mind that I'm only in the lowest graphics setting. Alright, so again, lowest graphics setting. I'll show it off here so y'all can see. Lowest graphics setting. Hit deploy. Our frame rate is up top, so I'm showing off Arsenal. So see, right now it's around 30 to 40, which actually isn't terrible. But we go into the game itself, I'm dropping below 20. Anything that happens on the screen, it's going to be around 20 frames per second, which is playable. Don't get me wrong, this is definitely playable. It just isn't the most enjoyable of gameplay. It just really isn't. I mean, you're definitely going to have these frame rate drops as well. As you saw there, I had major spike, or not spike, but decrease there. I was down to like 15 frames per second, which is not very good. Of course, other games in Roblox will run differently depending on what you're playing. Some games are going to run worse. Some games are going to run better. Some games you'll be able to play in the medium graphics and it'll be just fine. So it really all depends on the game. But a lot of the more popular games, like Black's Fruit here, Sharp Battlegrounds, Arsenal, stuff like that, they're higher graphic quality to them. Are you not going to run all that great? But then there are other games that will run more than fine as well. And then let's talk about the speakers that are on here, as well as the display. The display is only HD, it's not full HD. Does not, of course, have the highest PPI out there. Again, for the price, I think it is more than fine. I don't think it's a terrible display by any means. Of course, it's not going to be a great display, but it's not a bad display. I do not mind it. I'll put it that way. As far as speakers go, we do have stereo speakers. There's 2 of them right there. So right up, I'm going to call this the top. It's kind of like the top side, but still. So the volume is up all the way. Going to do one of my videos with just some music in it. So you can see scrolling through the video here, it loads in your next point pretty quickly. And I do think the speakers on here sound actually rather good. They're not the loudest out there, of course, being only an 8-inch device. Pretty much the smaller the tablet, the smaller the speakers, so it's not just going to get as loud as, say, even a 10 or the 11 in the Amazon lineup here, the HD10 or the 11 Fire Max. I think I said that backwards. Anyway, so they're not the loudest, but they do sound pretty good, and they do get loud enough to where I don't think most people are going to mind it. Yeah, I think they're fine. And I actually do think they actually sound pretty good too. So, all in all, I do think this is still a device. This is still a device worth looking into. As I get tongue-tied, it's still a good device, especially given the price tag. Especially if you're looking for a smarter device. Again, it's only 8 inches. Yes, it does not have the best display. It's not even full HD, unlike its bigger brothers and sisters, the HD10 and the 11. It still has these big bezels on it. It's not going to be the best for gaming. But if you're looking for something that's just for web browsing, especially something that's just for watching like YouTube, again, and basic web browsing, and maybe very basic gameplay, again, other games are going to play differently than Roblox. Of course, there are games that will play way better than Roblox out there, and of course, there'll be games that will play worse. But for a basic tablet, for a budget-friendly tablet, I do think this is still a very good tablet. I would recommend downloading the Google Play Store. The Amazon App Store is not very good whatsoever. Last time I looked, doesn't even have the YouTube app on it. You'd have to get the Google Play Store in order to get the legitimate app. But yeah, you all let me know what you think. Thank you all for watching. Hope you have a good one.